Okay, so the Dow here has established a range of 127 on the 5 minute. We have pulled back in the mini S&P, and this is a minor support zone into the 6920 area. We also have support at the bottom of the pivot here at 14. It is a possibility, so we could potentially zip down to this area or even lower, but we have pretty good anchor here in the 21 SMA. Notice that the price here has already visited the 20 SMA and the 21 SMA here and here, so in the ES and the Dow. And we have NASDAQ, which is a lot stronger. NASDAQ is super uber power trending, is literally finding support off of the 10 EMA, so a lot stronger. Not only that, it has a stronger structure, but it is stronger because it's above the 10 EMA here. So let's see if that's going to hold. Divergent is Russell not responding well. I've mentioned that there is support into the 25 20 area, and that is also a minor support that is coming from the daily. This is it right here. So if this area is not going to hold throughout the day today, we have two pressure points, one from October 6th and one from October 21st. There is a very strong possibility that we may slide all the way to the 10 EMA at 25, and I would say the 2500 area. So a lot weaker. It is down 14%, 0.5%, 14 points down. While the rest of the indices are stronger. We have the Dow here that is pulling back, but still have percent up. And we have NASDAQ that is really, really, really trying to hold. In terms of stocks, Microsoft had a gap up today. So that is really fantastic if you're in Microsoft, because it finally achieved that 550 area. And I don't know if you guys are in Microsoft, this is the time to peel some off. And Amazon is ready for a breakout. It's still trading within yesterday's range. Tesla is looking green and has been consolidating for some time. Google just made a new high. Meta's getting ready to expand a little bit higher now. Don't forget, the price action is going to be dicier because we are heading into FOMC. FOMC rate decision is tomorrow, whether they're going to lower the rate or how low are the rates going to go. We're going to have to see. Broadcom again, so semiconductors are still very strong. AMD with a brand new high this morning. Micron not yet. Micron is trading within yesterday's range, but the NASDAQ stocks are performing really, really well at this point. So we don't have to worry about NASDAQ. NASDAQ is very strong, and it's actually prepping a rotation here off of a sandwich off of the 5-minute charts. UNH took the elevator back down, so it gapped up above 380 and took the elevator down already at 360. So that is weighing down on the Dow. And same with Microsoft. Like I said, Microsoft, big part of the Dow, UNH as well. Goldman Sachs and financials in general, this is something that I want to monitor, and I do monitor every single time, every day. So we have JP Morgan higher, same with like I said, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, but I'm not seeing a lot of strength though. I'm seeing Walmart pretty weak and struggling. I'm seeing Home Depot still basing off of the 200 SMA on the daily. That's not a really great sign. Johnson & Johnson pulling back. Procter & Gamble, the boring stocks are not really performing that well. Disney as well is sideways still. So that was just a glimpse of the stock market. CRM though, CRM is very interesting. I gotta check out and see when CRM is reporting earnings, because that one could potentially be one for the list. Okay, CRM. Oh, there's still plenty of time. It's going to report in December, and it is gorgeous. Okay, very nice. Very nice. Okay, so we're almost close to 9:45. You guys know that 9:45 has been very reactive, and it could potentially be a buy over 76 or 80 with a stop just below this pivot here. The reason why I'm hesitating today and not just jumping into putting a buy limit order here into 75 or 80 is because we haven't really gotten our reversal. So we have red ticking in ES and the Dow, and of course in Russell. So my hesitation here comes from the fact that usually when you don't see synchronicity, you could have one index that could trigger, get you in, and then it could spit you out. I don't know if this is going to be the case today. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So sometimes it totally works, and there is, you know, how stocks are on their own, regardless of the market, regardless what the Qs are doing, right? And there's that one stock that keeps on powering. It's called that stock that, excuse me, that the stock is on its own. Same here. You're gonna have NASDAQ that it's on its own. We'll see. Let's just it's right into the 80s there. It's at 81.75. Notice that it's not really continuing. So sometimes it does, and sometimes, like I said, it's on its own, you know, rallying. But at this point in time, I'm not really convinced this is going to be a fabulous choice to go long now. Good morning, BK. How are you? At this point, Ara, there is no trailing into NASDAQ because it's already, you know, flying. So we don't have a trail parameter. All you can do at this point, if you want, you could take partial profits, like I've mentioned in the X post that I made yesterday. But at this point, there's no price action suggestion that we need to raise the stop. If you want to raise it to break even, that's fine. Actually, pull my stop entirely. And I'm gonna put it back here. So this was the Friday breakout. This was the gap up. Usually when you have a gap and go, okay, this is a gap and go. You could actually, if you want, you could place your stop over here, because if the price action is gonna reverse, and if, oops, sorry, I just meant to take something else from here. Okay, so if the price action is gonna reverse, and if it's going to break this low, and this is going to be a red candle, most likely that the price is going to pull back to, let's say, the 10 EMA. And if this doesn't hold, it may pull back to this minor support level. Okay, this is minor support from resistance, deriving from resistance. And if this doesn't hold, then it's going to pull back even more. But with earnings season, you have to be very careful not to, you know, take yourself out of trades, because and bottom line is that when you trail, especially a swing trade, day trades as well, you're much better off, having an all or nothing approach than to micromanage. Because when you micromanage, you evaluate a lot. You put your day trading hat on, you go like, okay, if this is gonna do this, it's gonna do that. But basically, when you have a gap and go, just let it go. If you see here that the rest of the indices are in turmoil, are having, steeper pullbacks, or having, some kind of trouble, then it's a good idea to start trailing. But at this point in time, because we're 1R right now, so we had the blast over 1R because we got it somewhere here, like 100 here, okay, 130. We're like over 1R. Okay, we are over 1R. So the best thing that you could do, like if you feel heavy, is to trim some, because if you have less size and if you already take some profits on half of your position, you feel you can breathe. Okay, so because you're not so heavily invested into the stock or the index, or what have you. But pay close attention to the candlestick formation, the color, the shape, the location. And then when you trail, and then the other aspect would be the correlation with the rest of the market. Because ultimately, even though NASDAQ is very strong, at some point in time, if we get weakness in ES or the Dow or Russell, NASDAQ is going to give in. And more so, it's going to be the last one to do it. So at this point in time, at the end of the day, could be the trail. So you have to wait for the day to close, especially when you're day trading. Most of the time, you wait until after 4 o'clock to evaluate and see, how can I trail? Oh my gosh, BK, this is amazing. Awesome. Good job, BK. I didn't see your post. Awesome. BK just passed evaluation. This is awesome. It's always great. Always great. Let's go back to the 5-minute. We're still stocking. We're noticing that NASDAQ is still the champ and holding really, really well. IBM with a new high. The range in NASDAQ just widened. You can see my hesitation here for the trigger in NASDAQ. Always watch not only the index that you're trading, but the rest of the indices, the rest of the market indices, because they're going to provide you with clues. All right. So we're getting a little bit of a reversal reaction into the Dow, not enough to make NASDAQ. See, NASDAQ is the last one that is pulling back right now. All right. We're waiting for a reaction to see what's going on. Okay, we may have a reversal. I'm looking at the area. The stop is going to be around 40 points. In NASDAQ, we're getting bottoming tails and rust. Wow. Okay. What was that? Algo. Okie dokie. Yeah, Josh, that was rotating. These are the first signs. Wowzers. What the heck was that? See, I wanted to get it around 63 to 65. Place the stop below the pivot low and minor support into the 25 to 28. Having a first target into the 90s and the second target into the 110 area. Wow. Um, Kyle, just curious, do you try and find a set risk to reward ratio, or is it different for every trade? Every trade has a different setup, but I do look for that at least 3 or 4 hours into a trade. You have to do that because if you see a trade, for example, like this one, and if you don't have above targets, let's say like you have some other resistance here or some kind of pressure point based on which the market was rejected at a different type of resistance, then you don't have the proper risk to reward ratio. So if this was, let's say these highs right here were the only highs that we had on the chart, then I would have not taken the trade because you want to take it here, you want to put your stop here and here at these tops, you would have like less than 1R. You have to go with velocity, and every single trade is different. But you have to evaluate before you get into a trade whether you want to get into a trade or not, based on the risk to reward ratio, and obviously based on a lot of other factors like room to run or structure of the chart, symmetry, or divergency that we have right now. As you can see, NASDAQ is still stabilizing. Yeah, I do too. I've been liking NASDAQ, since this morning, and I'm stalking for an entry, but 10 o'clock, like you can see that the data came in actually earlier than 10 o'clock, and this drove the market a little bit higher. Now, there's a little shelf that is developing on the 1 minute that I'm actually stalking right now. I'm not really sure that this is going to hold or not, because it's not really great at this time of the day. Usually after 10 o'clock, you got to focus more on the 5 minute rather than the 1 minute. So from what I'm seeing, the 15 minute looks just perfect with a breakout over this high. So the high would be over 85.5. So this is what I'm looking for. This is the bigger breakout that would offer us a lot more money and a lot more profits than the one on the 1 minute. The 1 minute is a little struggling, and we could get a false trigger, and then the price can pull back in to the base and below the base. So it can break that 50. So currently the 26050 is holding, but the question is for how long? And the bigger breakout is still over this high. We could decide to say, hey, we're going to take this on the 15 minute over this high, over 85.5, and place the stop, for example, here versus the low. But if you're getting a volatility spike or a volatility pull, you're going to immediately being taken out. So the 15 minute was crucial here. 15-minute looks good, and yes, that would be a confirmation. This is a doji, so it's going to be bullish above. So somewhere 69.20. Wider stop, it's going to be over 13, like 15-point stop. We have Russell that is rotating. Like even if we take if we take NASDAQ, for example, at 75 or so, we still have heavy resistance at 80 and 86. So we need to see it above 86. So the 15-minute is going to be in play here. The structure from the 15-minute is going to allow us to stay in the trade longer. And it has an acceptable stop 56. And again, position size. Please, guys, do not take a standard contract according to your account size. If you want to grow your account several times within a year, you have to position size. So I'm still looking at even the New York trading session charts look even better on the 15-minute. These ones look good too. I'm not so sure the Dow is holding. I'm keeping my eyes on the Dow stocks. JP Morgan financials are incredibly strong, especially JP Morgan. Tesla is finding some strength. We don't have any other data for today. There is no motivation for stocks today from the stock market to drive NASDAQ. And I think one of the reasons is because FOMC is just around the corner tomorrow. NASDAQ has been holding the base since 956. 956 was an algo push. And the volume that drove NASDAQ higher was basically based on a 3,500 contract. So 3,500 contracts push the price higher. Jim, that's a great question. Jim is asking at 1% are trading separate accounts for day trading and swing trading. And on a $100,000 account, would you suggest having the account split 50-50 or have a different ratio for account funding? keep in mind that the swing trading accounts and basically are going to have wider stops. You're not going to have as many trades. So for example, we have this month, we have the NASDAQ trade and we have the copper trade that are going on right now. So these trades could potentially, take up a lot of your sizing from your account. But and that $50,000 account, let's say, could be a little bit less active than your day trading account, but it's a personal preference. I have different size accounts, but it's a personal preference. You could split it 50-50, or you could do, I mean, for that amount, it would be okay for 50-50. It would be okay for 50-50. So I hope this helps. Like there are, and again, here's the thing, like you may not touch that account for a month or 2 months or 3 months. But when you take a trade there, it's gonna last, a little longer, like our NASDAQ trade. By the way, copper is breaking out intraday. Let's get ready for NASDAQ here. So I'm gonna say this with NASDAQ. I'm gonna see, the way I'm looking at NASDAQ is very simple. Entry here, stop here. But I want to get a tighter stop if I can at 50 versus 20. And I also want to give it a little bit more room here. We have 94 for the high today, 94.75 for the high today. And definitely I want to get it a little bit farther than this 85. So I want to get it at 90. So I'm going to go ahead and say NASDAQ long at 90. And let's try a stop at 050 versus the 25 area here. So we're getting the 15-minute entry, but we're tailoring it with the 2-minute stop below the base, because if we're going to get a trigger into the 90 to erase all of this garbage, okay, all of this noise, we want to trade in the clear, then we are going to have a hold into the 50. So by the time the price is here, I don't think we're going to get one of those crazy volatile. See, this is what I'm afraid of, the volatility spikes like this. Okay, so you could get a trigger. So you can see how the price here went above these highs, right? Got everybody in, and then it came back down, right? And you could see here, like back down. So all right, so as far as targets, we have a measured target into the 110. And if it breaks the 110, believe it or not, we have a tradable void, and we're going to go by trailing all the way to 200. So that doesn't mean that we're going to get complacent and say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go for a walk and we're going to let the price do its thing. No, it's a day trade. We stay here. Okay, so we're going to be trailing it into 200 if it wants to gain traction. So far, none of the indices have traction. $64 down in gold. Gold visited the 3,900 low. Oil is back to the 10 EMA. And like I said, it's pinching from 21 SMA to the 200 is going back and forth. We either want it above or below. I would prefer above. All right. Limit order placed. Now we have to wait to see if we get filled. The 5-minute has a series of dojis here. And this is basically going to be our decision. But my hesitation comes from the fact that, remember when we had the trigger over here and I said, I'm hesitating to put the buy limit order here because of the price action that we're getting across the indices. The same goes here. So we could see the same type of scenario. So see how this green candle traded above the red? It spiked up and then took everybody out, because a lot of times traders use the New York trading session 935 low for the stops or the prior pivot, and both got taken out, erased, and back into the junk. But if you're looking at the 5-minute chart, NASDAQ is still the strongest index because it's trading right now and it's holding above the 10 EMA, while the S&P, the Dow, and Russell, they're below the 10 EMA. So they have a weaker structure. But as long as the Dow, the S&P, and Russell will remain weak, NASDAQ is not going to advance, or it's going to do a peakable high just like it did here, and then it's going to start pulling back. That's the reason why we want to take it above every resistance that we see. Ideally, it would be over 95, over this high right here, but I think 90 is reason enough to get in. No, Josh, it's exactly what I have been saying like a second ago. It's below the 10 EMA. And we also have resistance from this pivot low here. Okay. It could go as a pinch. Okay. It could go as a pinch from here to here. Okay. Because we have heavy resistance here, but we have heavy resistance here, right? So we have these pivot highs, we have the 20 SMA. But I was explaining the structure, and I was saying, like, now, even though NASDAQ is stronger and has a lot more strength, so as a trader, you have to make sure that if you want to go long, you select the strongest index, not the index that is under resistance, not the index that doesn't have that tradable void. You want to select an index that is in sync with the pattern. You want the price action to trade above the MAs. You don't want overhead resistance from the MAs. Remember, all these moving averages, especially on smaller time frames, they're algorithmic rich, and they read rejection. So they don't read breakouts. Okay, they read rejection. So here it's possible, like if we get some kind of news or some kind of, if all the indices are going to start moving in sync, yes, the S&P is going to start breaking out, but it's not that favorable. Okay, so you're not going to have that follow through. Or when you get in a trade, your main concern is, can the trade achieve my target? Okay, so it's not only the setup, can the trade achieve my target? What resistance areas do I have? And here I have a lot of resistance. Okay, and same goes with the Dow. So I have price action resistance, the 20 SMA, and synchronicity, resistance synchronicity we have in the excuse me, S&P as well. We're getting a revival here, and Russell is fighting for its life. Sorry, like today I feel like a little bit of, it's not sore throat, but it's something. Okay, like I have my Zycam here, so I have like vitamin C and all that stuff, which I haven't taken. Okay, so yeah. So excuse my voice today. So it's not that I don't like the S&P. It could run. So if we're getting a bullish impulse in the market, all the indices are going to go. Just wishy-washy action, and I'm afraid this is because not of earnings, because earnings could have helped a little bit today. Obviously, we didn't have like superpower earnings, right? UNH was a superpower earning, but it took the Dow down, but because of I'm sorry, it took the price down because the stock gapped up and then it decided to come down and visit support. So that was the reason. We're getting a little bit of bounce in UNH right now, but I think it's we had we didn't really have like massive power players. Remember Thursday and Friday. Mm. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a breakout. Notice that this little mini base on the 5 minute is not holding as well. We went a little bit below the 5,000. Oh, the 50. We went into 48. That's not a big problem because we're going to be adding a little bit more to the stop. So 45. I'm actually not going to change my position sizing. All right, it's a spooktacular week. Tons of patience required. Don't forget, if you want to take partial profits, remember your 1R over here in NASDAQ swing. Take some out. No trailing so far. We have to see how the day closes first. Copper is moving higher. It's already trading right now $5.15. Told you did a little bit of a breakout as I was talking to you guys. Just about it. Copper needs to get above $5.20. And if it stays above $5.20, it's going to start moving higher. Russell rotated. Really well back above the New York trading session open, actually. The Dow may break out over 667, 967. And now NASDAQ is becoming neutral. UNH is lifting. Goldman Sachs has a little bit more strength to it. Home Depot is into the green right now. Caterpillar is still neutral. Caterpillar is going to have earnings soon, so that's why it's going neutral into earnings. CVX is higher. CVX is going to report on Friday. American Express a little bit more bullish right now, went into the green. Gold rotating. Gold made that low into the 3900 area, and then at the New York trading session did a 39.19 and a higher low 39.29, 10 points higher, and then 39.50, and is trying to go for a squeeze into the 70. Not at the moment, Ben. I am tempted to cancel it because it's approaching the other support and it has violated the 45. Yeah, let's cancel it. Yeah, we're gonna do a different position sizing for it. Still in a base. So all we have in NASDAQ is range bound action. We had a nice comeback in Russell. Russell was the weakest index. Notice that it is 5 points away from being green. These are the highs. It did this deep dive and then it came back to the highs right here, to the highs. Nice recoup. We still have resistance into this area in the Dow, resistance into this area in the S&P. Just broke above a little bit of above the 21 SMA. We still have the 20 SMA here with another layer of resistance. These are problem areas. Jim, yes, if you have never traded before, you could trade micros in copper as well. So copper, I personally got in at 518. Okay, so 518 is where I got in. So you could still take it, same stop. I have my stop under 480. It definitely needs to get above 520. $5.20. Yeah. The daily looks good. The daily looks like it really wants to start breaking out. The weekly looks very good. And then in swing trading, I like to get my bias more from the weekly charts than daily charts. So I need to see a really nice correlation between the daily and the weekly. The intraday doesn't do anything. NASDAQ, I don't know. So you've been waiting on NASDAQ here, and there's a big rain delay. Just watch the reaction. Let's see the mini S&P. Do you guys see how it went into this resistance? It got rejected. We don't want to be in a trading. We don't want that to happen. And here are some other NASDAQ targets, some fibs. So we have room to about 26,100, 150, and then we have a wide tradable void to about 27,000. Do you guys see how we can literally anticipate problem areas in the market? Heavy resistance here. We went to a high here. We're still a little bit into the red. The S&P is still getting rejected over here. The Dow is the one that is breaking out. So the next setup that is happening, by the way, we're into the 10-30 time frame. This is the last good timing for a setup in the market. There's a little sandwich now in ES that could potentially break that 21 SMA. Any pullback in the Dow? Dow resistance is into the 75 right now. Sandwiches. Yeah, sandwich here in ES. I don't know about ES. Like I said, it's the S&P is a little bit in sync with the NASDAQ here. It's not a trade for me. It needs to get, in my opinion, it needs to get above 62.20 in order to start going to 28. And to me, the risk to reward is not worth it, because let's say I would choose a stop over here. So this would be my 1R, and I would possibly get best case scenario 1R over here. And that is just choking the trade, because ideally you want to have to stop below the low here. You don't want to cut into price. That's the problem that I have with ES, is the risk to reward ratio that doesn't allow me to literally break out, I mean, there's no time for that. There's no time for follow through. It's still getting heavily rejected here. And like I said, they're kind of like moving in sync. Here, see, topping tail, topping tail. Definitely some indecision candles today going into the FOMC. That is the big deal that we're dealing with right now, especially that the power hour is closed. All right, so NASDAQ continues to pull back. It's still up about 20%, 0.60, I'm sorry, 0.20%, 0.60% still up in the Dow. The S&P is still at break even, and we're still 5 points down in RTY from establishing green. Hmm, I don't think we're going to have a trade today. We still have about 30 minutes left for some action into the market before the volume really winds down. I'm stalking the Dow here because now Dow has a little bit more strength. Russell, no. Too flaky, too thin. This may be an opportunity for a little breakout here. Not sure in the context of the pullback and the price getting rejected here. if that's going to work. Listen, no trade in a day is better than a loss. Capital preservation, and we only strike when the opportunity is right. We don't just trade for the sake of placing trades. We trade to make money. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trading just for the sake of trading. I'm trading just to make money. Like we shouldn't get caught in these crazy nonsense moves. I mean, Nasdaq down, Dow up, S&P sideways, and after a very similar move down to the with the Dow, Russell reversed. Okay, so same kind of patterns here in Russell and the Dow. Very much different patterns when it comes to NASDAQ and when it comes to ES. All right. All right, let's see. This is the last hurrah for the market. The risk to reward ratio in the Dow or YM, which I'm stocking, is not great. The setup for NASDAQ would be a little bit better. Entry 55. So it's going to be based on the 15-minute. This is going to be the entry over 55. The stop is going to be under the newly formed low at the time of the trigger. So that's going to be 26,000. We're going to shoot and we're going to target the 80s. Huge fulcrum is where the price action had a very strong reaction. It closed, it opened, it had a high and very close to a high. So 0.80 is going to be the first target. The second target is going to be the high today. We're going to shoot for 100 for the whole number. And like I've mentioned earlier, and I posted in the room, we still have room for about 150. And that is a fib extension. Honestly, I'm looking at the time and I don't think the market is going to do it right now. And I don't think the market is going to start exploding about just before the FOMC announcement tomorrow. I may be wrong, and this is the reason why we have to let the chart do the talking and not us do the thinking. There is a mini potential breakout that is happening. Again, the risk to reward ratio is not fantastic. It is not a trade for me, but it is an idea for the room, depending on each and everyone's personal risk tolerance. The entry would be over 48,040. So over these highs, the stop to be used will be the 10 EMA, which is in confluence with the prior high here and the lows over here. So we're going to give it a little bit of room because of the volatility. And the target, first of all, we have, again, an inflection point at 50. We have the close and the open of these two candles. So it was a decision over the, let's say 5 to 10 minutes over here. So the price resided here for some time before deciding to go down. And then the next target would be into the 89, and then we're going to go straight to the pivot. I'm going to wait until the top of the hour, into 11 o'clock. We still have a few more minutes left, like 7-8 minutes left. And I'm not seeing any kind of power in the indices. Everything has fizzled out, which is, pretty much in sync with the momentum in the market and the timing in the market. When it's going to set up, Wilson, so we need to see a setup. At this point, there's nothing but a pullback. You need to see a confirmation or rotation, an area at which it would form. So right now, because we have this candle right here that has just taken the prior lows low, it's just a continuation lower. We don't know whether this is going to continue lower or if it's going to reverse. So every day it's going to be on watch, but definitely watch for a setup. Watch for a setup. Watch for a buy setup. Watch for a breakout. So any kind of price action confirmation. At this point, your guide should be the daily price action into the this commodity, into gold. So as of this point, doji candle right here, we have huge resistance into the 21 SMA. So this is not going to be favorable, even if it does a buy setup here off of this doji. Let's say doji and up, not going to be favorable because this area could be a strong rejection. And also this area right here into these highs could be a rejection. This would have been, and we had the trade on deck for a breakout over 4180, but that did not happen. We did not get triggered in, and the price action followed through. So at this point, we're just watching. And you have to have the patience to watch for a formation, whatever that formation is. One of the 10 strategies that we talk about, one will be applied if and when the time comes. You have to have like the right setup for it. All right, NASDAQ is improving in price action, gaining a little bit of strength here as the Dow is weakening. Yeah, so when the time comes, trust me, I am on it. Also wanted to bring here not necessarily SLV, but if you do SLV, but silver. Okay, so silver is catching a little bit here. You can see that it's a little bit into the green today, so it's not as red. But silver, this one could be a buy over 49. This is, again, you have to pay very close attention. This is very heavy. If you have not put a swing trade into these commodities, these are really pricey. So you might check an alternative, an SLV. And again, an SLV, we have the same problem here with the 21 SMA. So I like to get in clear setups because I don't typically scale in. So my entry is my entry. It's like either or. Like I'm either in or not in. I mean, what's the deal? So I'm not trying to catch a falling knife. So I need to have like really robust strategies for this. But we're waiting on gold. Kyle, if I don't trade either. I I've learned through time, and especially as long as I've been hosting the trading room for like, I don't know, probably 10 years now, that it's not that I have to be super, super patient for myself, but for everybody in here. Because I don't want to get you guys in trouble. There's a huge responsibility. So when I tell you guys I'm entering, I have to be 100% positive that when you guys follow, that is a perfect entry. I am not going to. And you're going to see that if, Kyle, if you want to share your trade with somebody else, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to go into like this macro analysis because I'm going to be sharing my trade. And it's not that you have to be, it's not that you want to be right. It's what the price dictates to you to do. Is, are you reading the price right? It's crazy. NASDAQ not responding well. NASDAQ is establishing a new doji here, and notice that I'm on the 15-minute. Okay, so this is going to be a buy above. You can see here. So look at the difference between all of these indices. Okay, so you get a lot of chop in here in ES, but the 15-minute is, again, look at this candle is trying to break this 10 EMA. So this is good. All right. So also in the Dow above the 10 EMA, ideally you want to see a setup above the 10 EMA, but coming in, right? So the reason why I'm just sitting on my hands right now is, and like I said before, I would rather not have a trade than have a stop. That's capital preservation for myself. And you have to have like clean, clear entries, exits, trail, follow through, etc. And if I don't have that, then I'm not going to have a trade. But the 15-minute, look at these candles. They're all like, not all, but they're dojis. Here's the top of the hour. Now the parameters for a NASDAQ trade, and I'm looking at the time, I really don't think that the market is going to go. But right now it looks bullish over 50. So our entry was 55 and the stop literally remains the same. So I'm giving it a little bit of room to 26,000, but we don't have to. We could use 26,005. Okay. So it's not going to run to 150 now, because the timing of the day does not allow for the price to do that. Okay. But if you want to take it, I still have not decided yet whether I'm going to take it or not. So once again, you could use, let's say, 005 for the stop. Here's the trade tailored for this 15-minute buy. Now the target would be, I would say include 70 as well for the target, because it is what it is right here into the 70s. You see these, not only these highs, but where we closed, where we opened. So include the 70, include the 80, obviously inflection point here that we already talked about. Those are the, yeah, I'm going to take the trade. I'm going to take the trade. Even if it's for 1R. The problem is I don't know if we have reason to go higher right now because we're getting very muted action. Apple is not going anywhere. Microsoft pulled back, not going anywhere. Amazon not going anywhere. Google pulling back after establishing a new high. Intel is stronger. Maybe I should run a scan quickly to see what's running. Okay, so here we are, order filled on my side. I don't know if you got filled or not, but mine got filled. They love to fill my orders. Okay. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, they sometimes it's so weird because it's barely there, so it's by the tick. So even if it's like a tick lower or something, I don't know how, but I get filled. It doesn't happen all the time. It's very rare, but it happens. And I'm like, wow, do they know something that I don't? All right. So I'm going to run a quick scan here to see what's going on in the market and what the leaders and laggards are. RAGN is a power play, up 8.5%. Intel, I've mentioned Intel. Intel is getting ready for a breakout. I've mentioned it yesterday in the webinar that did record the workshop. CRWD is up almost 2.6%. Microsoft is getting rejected because it's revisiting a high. But I'm sure happy it reached that 550 for God's sakes, because I've been waiting for that forever since September. I took the trade middle of September, Microsoft long at 512. And that was like, nope, I'm not going to do anything to that trade until it reaches 550. So, yeah. Okay, like I said, Tesla is up 2%. Rivian is higher, but Rivian is just garbage. It's just not going anywhere right now. It's trading under a lot of resistance. eBay is snapping higher. This is stock that I've been stocking, but I didn't get into. Nvidia is right into resistance. Broadcom is again into resistance. Still has a little bit of more room to tackle that resistance. Airbnb back into resistance. So a lot of trades are, even though they snapped up, they're into resistance. And this is the reason why, you're getting this shake and bake into the market. Okay, so NASDAQ went staircase up to get the trigger. It went to 53 and elevator down. Elevator down were 1,000 contracts that pushed NASDAQ lower, about 18 points. By the way, the Dow could form a breakout, like sandwich, I should say, a sandwich over these highs, over the red candle high. Okay, let's see if we go. We are into the 48 again, 49. We went into 50 again, tackled the 50. The 5 minute developed a little mini base. So if it takes out the 55, we could start moving towards 70 and 80. Do you guys see how we traded today? So we were very cautious. We were very patient. We're still not very sure if this trade is going to work or not. The 15-minute is favorable. However, the timing of the market is not that great because we're less than 30 minutes away from the beginning of doldrums. And we have the FOMC decision tomorrow. So never trade recklessly, like hitting the bid, hitting the trade, going in long, going in short, taking a gazillion trades. It's one that could actually make you money. There you go, Som. I am so proud of you. I like literally yesterday I was thinking about you and I'm like, I gotta send you an email. Like you were so on the money with everything. Like seriously, like I am so serious. This is beautiful. Like if the market is going to get, if NASDAQ is going to get into that 70 area, so above the red high. So being able to identify setups is key, is instrumental into succeeding in trading. It's instrumental. And seeing the correlation between the indices, seeing the correlation between time frames within the same index is key to successful trading. All right. Now, this candle is closing. Okay, closed. Okay, it closed. We need to see the price hold above this 21 SMA. We need to hold it above. And now the mission for this candle is to top the prior high and start moving higher. Okay, so let's see. This candle is not very encouraging. All the indices are into the same situation and the same parameters. Once again, the stop should be respected. There's no change. value where the stop is at. Our current stop is 0.005, just below this pivot low right here. The reason why I was telling you guys that this is not a favorable situation is because we have a high and we have a lower high. And if the price action takes out the 20s, we would have another lower high. Okay, so that would not be a good situation, even though we're still holding above 26,000. That's remarkable. So we're still holding. So the line of the sand is still that 26,000 right here. So that's still really good. It's 11:13. We have 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes into the close of this 5-minute candle. And the candle is red so far. We need the price to lift a little bit. It all goes down to candlesticks, guys. Candlestick language. Candlestick language. We teach it in our course. It's one of the most important chapters into reading price action and reading the reaction. Not a lot happening into the stock market, and I think everything is like quieting down because of FOMC tomorrow. Now, you guys know I don't trade FOMC, but we'll see. We'll see. Yes, Bonnie, I'm still in. I'm still in, and I made a suggestion that everybody that is into the swing trade should take some partial profit, but of course it depends on each person's risk tolerance. Because we are up 1 hour, I have not lifted my stop up. I need to see the close of today before doing that. And I will send a notification on our X feed when I raise the stop and what the plan of action needs to be. All right, now are we gonna get a sandwich, guys? Or are we gonna get a total failure here? The Dow is holding. The mini S&P is into a tug of war here with these dojis. Gonna put it gonna put the charts back on the 5 minute. 15 minute very favorable for the Dow here, but if we don't get followed through in all the indices, we're not gonna go anywhere in either of them. All right, we have patience, we have the stop, we have our trigger, we are in the trade, we need to wait. Focused on price action. We're not going on Facebook. We're not going on X. We're not going on different websites to read the news. We're not checking our emails. We're not letting anything distract us. All we do is we look at price action. Come on, market. We want a last hurrah from the market. Let's not forget that the European session is not going to close at 11:30, but at 12:30. But I'm still, a little bit hesitant about the doldrum period. Okay, so I'm going to give you an option. It's not the best case scenario, but if you want to call it a day and you can see what's going on in the S&P, you could see what's going on in Russell. I'm also contemplating for myself to exit at break even. I know, we were just there a minute ago. It's not, so I was taught not to do that. I was taught that once you have the entry, once you have the stop, once you have your target, you let your trade play out. But I have to add something here, because if we don't see any kind of follow through, and because we are not in the timing of the day that is favorable for trades, I also taught myself to protect my capital. So I'm going to say here right now, and I'm going to do it first. So I'm going to, put my profit taking into the 0.50. Okay. So I'm going to take it off. So if the price goes back to 26,050, I'm going to take it off the table. So I'm going to close the trade at 26,050 at my entry at break even. Let's see. The battle is between 30 and 50 so far. And right now it's getting a little bit lower into the 45. All right, we're still hanging on. All right. We need 10 points from here higher. I'm going to be out at 50 if it gets there. We're almost at 45, 46 for the high on this candle right here. Come on, NASDAQ. We're not asking much. We just want out. We don't want to play anymore. We want our toys and we want to go back home. Notice that I am not jumping around from short to long. I'm waiting patiently for my order to get filled. I'm also contemplating on raising my stop for this trade in case it goes down, because our original stop in this trade is 005 and I'm contemplating of putting a stop at 30. So this would be 30 for the stop. I'm just going to put a quick alert here, because that's going to be our stop in case things don't work out. We're at 47.25 for a high. $48.75 for the high. One more tick. We just need a little bit of a push. I am telling you, like, as far as the 15-minute goes, if we had synchronicity throughout the indices, and if we didn't have this meltdown in the Dow and Russell and ES, NASDAQ could have made it over 100 today. I'm patiently waiting. Notice that I'm not rushing into anything. I am simply waiting. Bam, I'm out. I don't know about you guys, but I feel so happy. Break even. All right, team. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Exactly. So good observation. The volume is low. I don't, like I said, I have really good analysis on NASDAQ, and NASDAQ proves that it really has relative strength, and it could continue higher, but the current environment, compared to the indices, to the rest of the indices, the majors, and also Russell, is making NASDAQ sideways. So I am very happy. This is how you trade without blowing. Please, guys, everybody that is here, okay, I want you to listen carefully. Okay, we don't trade because we like to hit buttons. We trade to make money because we love money. We also trade precise setups. You don't see me going around and jumping around in different trades. We are trading one symbol at a time, or two or three symbols at a time when we have synchronicity. Okay, but in this case, we have a really crazy market ahead of FOMC. Okay, and I was with full size. Typically, on a day like today or the FOMC week, you need to scale down in size and trade, let's say, half hour, especially as you're going into FOMC. But because we're in full swing earnings season, and like I said, the best days to trade are going to be on Thursday and Friday. So after FOMC. Okay, we're going to be very cautious tomorrow again. So you can see we entered the trade, we engaged into a trade, and we took the decision to exit at break even. No damage has been produced. Okay, no damage has been produced. Don't damage your account. You have one account, take care of it. Position size is key. Position sizing is key. It's the only thing that is going to get you into profitability. You need 2 R's per month to double your account. There's no reason why anybody here should not be doubling their accounts in a year. Nobody in here, I don't even want to hear about blowing an account in here. I don't want to hear, I don't want to talk to you. If you're in here and blowing your account, then why are you here? Why are you here? Please respect. They're not my rules. I wish they were, but they're not my rules. You need to respect the market rules. Be very mindful of the timing that you're trading, whether it is 10:35, whether it is, I don't know, 9:30 or 9:45 or 11:15. Remember what we said. We got into this trade and we said the timing is not very favorable. And when we called the trade, it was at 11 o'clock. And we said, not feeling like 100% here, because although the pattern was there, the 15-minute was there. So, and again, another thing, correlate your timing with the time frame. Okay, timing with the time frame. So at this time, you don't trade the 1 minute or the 2 minute. You zoom out. Okay, you zoom out on 15-minute or on the 1 hour. You heard Som here in the room. She said, look at the 1 hour. That is the line in the sand, because if you get the trigger on the 1 hour, then you will get continuation. I don't think that's going to happen. And in fact, it's not going to happen. So because tomorrow is FOMC. Okay. Jim, yes, yes, yes. I want you guys to be successful. I'm serious. If you're in here and blowing up your account, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here, because you're here to take my trades and to listen to what I have to say. And it's not like I'm like, giving you guys like orders on what to trade and how to trade. It's like I come with that experience. I know how it's like to want to make money, and at the same time you're struggling because you don't know if you have it right. You don't know if you have like that setup right, the timing right. So that's why I keep on repeating. It's that time of the day. This is the doldrum. This is this is that. Okay? So I know, right? If you blow your account, you don't even want to talk to yourself. Absolutely. That's a big no-no. Okay? That's a big no-no. You shouldn't even get close to blowing an account. Do you guys know that you need to have 100 stupid trades in order to blow your account? Like 100 stupid trades. Literally. Because you're trading with 1%. And you're going to need 100%, 100 stupid trades to blow your account. Okay? So how can you blow an account? You need 100 consecutive stupid trades. Seriously. I mean, I got to where I am, Jim, because I had mentors that drill this information in my head every single day. And I said it to myself. I said, you know what? When I started doing what I'm doing right now, I said, I'm going to do the same thing. Even though they're going to hate me for repeating it over and over again. But if I drill this in your head, the way it was drilled in my head, you're going to get to where I am. Or exceed. Definitely exceed. I want you guys to exceed me. And there are some traders in here that literally have what it takes to exceed me. Because when it comes to trading, I'm very conservative. I'm very cautious. Okay. And I'm not saying that, yeah, but no risk, no gain. So you still have to put yourself out there. Yeah, Wilson, 2 hours per month, not per day. So imagine so literally, if a day trader respects the rule, there's no reason why the trader, like on a minimum, double the account every year, on a minimum. But every day trader or swing trader can not only triple, quadruple their account each year. I've showed you guys the performance. I showed you the R's. I showed you my performance. So I showed you everything. That's why you guys are here, because you like consistency. You like performance. Okay. And don't just trade in really bad moments of the day thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get in here. Just be very knowledgeable of the timing when you're trading, because it's very important. The timing when you're trading. And also FOMC tomorrow. What do you expect from the market? Like I said, if all the indices would have had a catalyst to continue higher, okay, then we would have reached 100 or 120 or so in NASDAQ, because NASDAQ was super strong today. And it was the one index that held strong through the morning, proved that it could just hold and maintain that strength and start pushing higher. But when we saw, after we got in, that the price action in the other indices was weakening, we said, you know what? We don't want to part in this. So I had plan A and plan B. As a trader, you always have to have a plan A and plan B and plan C and plan D. So my plan was that, let's say we waited and said, okay, now here, we're going to be waiting for 50. And if it reaches 50, we're going to be up, right? And we said, so, or here, let's say, right? And said, okay, so let's say this top did not reach 50. Okay. And we say, okay, when it's going to reach 50, already had, so this is plan A, we're going to exit at 50. But if the price action hadn't gone to 50, I already had a plan B to reduce my risk. So instead of having my risk here into the 005, I will reduce my size to 30. And if I typed it in the room, I said, we will reduce the stop to 30, and I placed an alert, right? So this way it would be half the risk. So it was 1 hour here, Now it was half an hour. So you would not lose, let's say, if you risk $1,000 on this trade by position sizing, you would not risk 1,000, you would risk 500. Does that make sense? Here, risk nothing. Here, profit. Okay. So it's a calculated risk in everything that we do. Okay. Calculated risk in everything that we do. So I really hope that this helped. Okay. Again, I don't want you guys to blow up accounts by doing wishy-washy things. Pay attention to the pattern. We have a course literally that is going to change your trading life forever. I have poured everything that I know about the market in there. And if there is like, let's say 2%, 3% left, I'm repeating that depending on the market environment here in the trading room constantly. This is the continuing education. You cannot succeed in trading by winging it or without having the proper trading education. Okay? You can't say I'm going to be a doctor, but first I'm going to perform surgery on some traders, on some people, and I'm going to take their tonsils out, or I'm going to be a dentist, I'm going to pull some teeth out, or fill some cavities, and then if I like it, then I'm going to go do my take my degree. It doesn't work like that. You have to invest in yourself. So you invest in yourself so you don't blow up accounts. That's the worst thing possible. I don't. Oh my gosh. Likewise. Oh my gosh. We've all had experiences. But no, seriously. You guys, because you guys are in here in the room, you should never blow up an account. Especially that. Hey, Lori. Especially that, I do all this work and I try to highlight, what to trade, when not to trade, when to stay away, when to do this, when to do that, just because I've been there, done that, and I don't want you guys to repeat my mistakes. Okay? I don't want anybody in here to go through the same mistakes that I did. Yep, 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 yep. Look at it. Look at it. It went to 06. Isn't it funny? Because we had to stop at 05, right? It went to 06, then it went to 50 again. But look at the price in these indices just. The primal screams, Rob. Oh, God. Ow, ow, oh. Let's go. Oh, oh. Oh, my God. Yes, yes, Lori's in the house. Her husband, but yes, but he's an excellent dentist. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, so guys, bottom line is that bottom line is that we need to be like um careful about the market. Now, I haven't made a decision whether I'm going to be trading tomorrow or not, because you guys know that at FOMC I reserve the right to take the day off from trading. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be here in the room and analyze the market as if it's a regular day. But one other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys, and I want you guys like to take note of it. I want you to write it down. Okay. During earnings season, the power hour, that means from 9:30 to 10:30 is the most active. And then after 10:30, that's like blah, 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 blah. Like nothing going on, because we're either waiting for the next earnings chapter, right? For the next companies to report after the close, and then the morning to have pre-market, some other earnings reports come out, or plus we're waiting for data, right? And FOMC is a big thing, right? So great decision. I can't wait. Okay. So it's very exciting when we have the right decision with earnings season, because usually we have rate decision with we have the FOMC. So it just so happened right now that we're not trading on an option expiration period, because that would have been worse. If you have FOMC and option expiration within the same week, that is really bad. But that's something that is going to happen outside of this 6 weeks. Okay, so that is when the real crapiola starts. Okay, now we're still fundamentally driven into the market, which is a good thing. Okay, all right, team. I've held you enough in here. So I hope you guys are going to have a great rest of the day. Sorry for those of you guys that were waiting on the recording from last night. It's not my fault. Honestly, it's not my fault. Zoom admitted that they're having a glitch with it. I actually thought that I don't have any disk space on my computer. I mean, I didn't know what to think, right? So sometimes, it happens that you get your computer overcrowded with stuff. So, oh gosh, thank you so much, Jim. Thanks, PK. Guys, I don't want you guys to repeat the mistakes that I've done. Okay, because it took me like about 3 years. And remember what my mentor said, is because I started to make money, and then he said like, oh yeah, cool, but yeah, it's okay, it's okay, but it's like, you're going to be a really complete good trader in about 3 years from now. I'm like, what? You know how when you want it now, like I want it now. Okay. Oh my goodness, yes. So this is it, team. I'll see you tomorrow for another session. Get ready, FOMC. We may trade half the size. We're going to evaluate it tomorrow. We'll see. So thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for your trust in me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Psst, psst, don't overtrade. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.